Oh my goodness, guys. New combo Cav commander has come out, officially been announced to Rise of Kingdoms, and it is King Arthur. So in today's video, we're going to go over his kit, what I think about him, and some potential pairings that you might see on the field in just a few weeks. And here we are, Arthur Pendragon. So once and future king, he is a cavalry, versatility, and combo damage commander. Now, he is what is called a dual commander. So that means that he is viable in two different formats. The first being skill damage and the second being combo damage. This is kind of a new thing that they've tried to do with the kind of chaos that is the armament system, which really punishes players for only investing into one formation, but also the armament system in general is designed like that. So they are now releasing commanders that do two things with two different formations. So this one, like I said, is skill damage and combo damage. And you can see it in this absolutely insane active skill. So damage factor 2800 on both sides of this coin. So it's a rage requirement of 1000, and you can launch two combo attacks to 3 targets, each doing 1400 damage factor, or you could launch a active skill that does 2800 damage factor to 3 different targets. So no debuffs, but a ridiculously high damage factor. So that's a good start. Now, the second part is just some base stats, which is nice. 20% march speed is actually a lot. And then it also has, if this commander's troop is attacking a field troop, their cavalry units gain 30% attack and 20% health. Really, really, really good. Now, I want to kind of be wary of this. It does say attacking a field troop. Does that mean that you have to be the one initiating? Because if you're running away, you're technically not attacking. Do you lose the health if you're running? I don't know. A little strange. I feel like if you're just in combat with a field troop, you're going to get these stats. That's how I imagine it'll work. So either way, a lot of stats on the skill, a decent skill. And then this next part of the skill, the Scabbard of Avalon, is essentially just a flat 30% bonus to both of the attributes of the dual side of this coin. So it's a 30% bonus to combo attack damage, or it is a 30% bonus to your skill damage. Now, this will kind of be where I'm leaning towards the investment side in the future. There aren't going to be a lot of other commanders that you can pair with that do more combo attack damage. So for now, I think that skill damage boost of 30% will also affect the other commander that you pair him with, which will kind of go into the pairings later on in this video. But next up, we have Merlin's Magic. So, all this medieval time stuff is kind of cool to see. Whenever they launch a combo attack or deals direct damage, it has a 30% chance to reduce target's rage by 100 every second for the next 2 seconds with a cooldown of 5 seconds. So this is actually really, really interesting. So when this deals combo damage, and now it deals combo damage in 2 different scenarios, the first being the active skill and the second being this expertise, but it also triggers when it does direct damage. So that is any active skill or any instant proc. And again, this will lead you into more synergistic combinations later down the line. But right now, there are a few commanders out there actually that do instant proc damage. And a cooldown of 5 seconds for a 30% chance to proc is actually, this could proc on like maybe twice every skill cycle, which is really, really good if used with the proper commanders, which again, we will go over in a little bit. And lastly is the expertise, the Mab Darogan. Darogan? I'm not sure. But either way, if this commander is serving as the primary commander, their troops gain the Light of the Lake effect. Whenever their troop launches a basic attack, it is a 50% chance, right? So pretty large, to launch an extra combo attack with a damage factor of 300. Now, this effect can trigger multiple times per second. Each time it triggers in a single second, its chance to trigger is reduced by 50%. So, you launch a base attack 50%, and then it's got another 25, then a 12.5, right? And then it just keeps going down and down and down. So in theory, it's possible to get like 5 triggers of this on one turn. Really, really unlikely. And it also has a cooldown of 10 seconds. So this will actually fire even slower than once every skill cycle, but still pretty interesting and a little bit of a burst of damage, if you will, like an instant proc. And then the other part of this expertise is if he is a secondary commander, he will gain the Light of the Stone effect. Whenever their troop deals direct damage, it has a 25% chance to deal additional damage every second for 1 second to all targets of the direct damage. Damage factor is 50% of the direct damage factor. That's a lot of damage factor words there. But this is really, really insane for skill damage. This procs off of any kind of direct damage that you're dealing, and to my knowledge, this has no cooldown, meaning things that do instant proc, things that trigger twice, wink wink, Joan of Arc, are really, really strong with this commander. So we're gonna go ahead and now dive into the tree here. So this is the combo tree, and there are, other things on this tree that aren't mentioned here, but we're just gonna go over some of the things that actually come with the combo tree to kind of see if it's enough for me to really want to run this commander as the primary. So we have Blizzard of Blows, and whenever this commander's troop launches any type of basic attack, it's a 10% chance to reduce the troop's health by 1.5% for 3 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. Now, a lot of people look at this and they're like, oh my goodness, this is like a dagger on your talents. No, it's a 10% chance, so it's really low. It only lasts for 3 seconds. Now, multiple troops can stack this effect, right? So if you have like everybody running, this combo tree, then maybe, but at the same time, it's really not enough for me to just run individually, right? Now it's decent. I would take it if I was running this tree, but not like some crazy skill. It's not equal to a dagger. No quarter. Whenever this commander's troop launches any type of combo attack, it gains 15 rage. Now this is the one that I want to highlight a little bit more because it's actually not confirmed that a combo attack generates rage. And what do I mean by this? Let's hop in game to see what I'm talking about. All right, so here we are in game with one of the best commanders in Rise of Kingdoms, Liu Che, and his expertise is the only other form of combo damage in the game. And for the longest time, this just said deal an extra basic attack, and a lot of us just thought, okay, well, a basic attack meant you generate one extra turn of rage or one extra attack worth of rage, which is 86, and you deal damage factor 200, which is the base damage factor of any basic attack. But they since updated this to also include combo attack, which is not a basic attack, and it says gain one basic attack worth of rage. So this does not mean that a combo attack generates the rage. This just means that on Liu Che's skill, he generates rage, which is really why he's so strong. So this combo damage and combo attack might not actually be as good as I originally thought. I honestly thought that all combo attacks would generate this rage, but upon diving deeper in and kind of seeing what the community has come to the conclusion of, like, it might actually not generate rage, and so that's something to keep an eye out for. We have Force of Nature, and whenever this commander's troop launches any type of basic attack, it is a 10% chance to gain a 3% bonus to damage dealt for 3 seconds, cooldown of 5 seconds. This is like a super mini ring. This is honestly almost nothing, so it's okay. Like, fine, sure, decent talent. And then Iron of Steel. Whenever this commander's troop launches a combo attack or a ranged combo attack, there's a 10% chance to gain an extra combo attack, damage factor of 250, cooldown of 10 seconds. So, again, I'm not super impressed with the skill. 10% chance on something that already has a low percent chance to proc, and then it's got a cooldown of 10 seconds. I mean, this, long story short, I'm not very impressed with this tree. It's fine. We'll see how it performs when it comes in game. Okay, and now we've hopped back in game, and I want to go over the potential pairings that I see. Obviously, there are the big 3 Cav commanders that I think everyone's thinking of, right? It is the Nevskis, it is the Huos, and it is the Joan of Arc. And now, which one do I think is actually going to be the #1 pairing that I would run this commander with as I struggle to find my Joan of Arc? Funny enough, it is actually Joan of Arc. I think that the single one best Cav commander and Cav pairing that you can run with this new release is Joan of Arc primary with Arthur secondary. And now why that is, and actually we're going to go back into the skill set to see where the synergy comes from. Okay, in reality, it is these 2 skills, the Merlin's Magic and the Mab Daragon, whatever you want to call this thing. So, Merlin's Magic, right? Whenever you deal direct damage factor on a cooldown of 5 seconds, you have a 30% chance to reduce the rage by 100 every second for 2 seconds. Now, if I were to guess, I would say that this only affects one of the targets hit. However, there is a chance that this affects every single target it hits. Joan of Arc and the skill cycle and how long it takes actually triggers on that 6th second, right? If you're in combat for the whole time. And so what would actually be the case is that there's a chance that you get 2 procs of this skill on 3 targets, reducing rage by 600, right, in one skill cycle. Now, I don't think that that's actually how it's going to work. I think that's a little too busted. However, the concept still does apply, that Joan of Arc is doing direct damage factor more often than other commanders because it triggers that extra active skill. So you actually get more procs of this rage reduction with Joan of Arc. And then this really is the big stuff here. This Mab Daragon skill, this is where I think that skill damage pairings with this commander are actually much better than the combo attack pairing and the combo attack text of this skill. So the combo attack, very simply, is just like a big burst of an instant proc that does multiple combo attacks, right? With combo attack synergy, this could be good, right? With special inscriptions, whatever, you get damage reduction on a few of them. Like, it is good, it is good. But the damage that you're getting from this expertise with Joan of Arc is crazy. There is no cooldown. No cooldown with this skill. So that means when Joan fires that active skill, there's a 25% chance that it does 50% more damage. And then you're going to get another skill from Arthur. There's a 25% chance, again, that does another 50% more damage. And then you're going to fire another active skill from Joan, right? So think about how insane this is. So you're just firing tons and tons and tons of skill damage at these people. And if you have amplifications like Hunter and Intrepid, this is going to be doing a crazy amount of damage. Now, you do lack stats a little bit with this pairing. I'm not going to lie. Joan of Arc, but she doesn't have stats anywhere. Like any pairing she's ever had, she's always had no stats, and you are getting health. And I think that just the damage that you're going to be doing with the amplification of this 30% skill damage bonus is enough to kind of put it over the top. It's not as much amplification as Huo or as Nevsky, but it is much more damage factor, and the AoE, I think, is a little too large to ignore. Okay, now that we're back in game, we're going to go over the other pairing. So Nevsky, obvious synergy, and it has the exact same synergy that Huo has. It's essentially a single target nuke with a skill damage amplification. So you could pair Arthur with either of these two commanders as a secondary, and it would do really, really well for you. Now, one of the other commanders that I'd like to kind of give an honorable mention to is actually Attila. Now, I think that you would have to run Attila secondary behind Arthur, and you take away a lot of kind of the boost and the application to normal damage that Attila should be doing on the Arthur skill. But he could fire off his active skill, and then Prince Arthur could launch that like volley of normal attacks, and it would do a ton of damage. Like, that does make sense. It would also be pretty tanky. So yes, there is synergy here. I just don't think it's as good because Attila can't be the primary. And then the last commander that I would actually put in the honorable mention list is a pairing with William. Now, you can run William as the secondary. You've got a lot of synergy here with the instant procs to the volley of attacks on the expertise that Prince Arthur does, and so there is some synergy there. And obviously a lot of people run that XY William as the third cav march in a lot of their lineups, and so why don't you just replace the XY with the Arthur? It'll do you pretty well. But talking about lineups and what marches you'll run, so let's go over what you would run with one cav march. I think I already said that, right? 2 cav marches and then 3 cav marches in your murder ball, at least my opinion. All right, so for one march, we've already gone over in the video, but pretty self-explanatory. Joan of Arc with the Arthur secondary, really insane, tons of damage. Now, you could run Nevsky with Arthur, and you could run Huo with Arthur, and you would be happy. So if you have both of those commanders, I don't think that you have to like go and invest in Joan this late in the game to pair with just one march. Like, definitely don't do that. And in fact, I could be completely wrong, and who knows, maybe Nevsky Arthur or Huo Arthur is just the best march. So wait until testing to make any further investments. But as far as the 2 march setup goes, we're going to go back to the old classic. We're going to go Nevsky Joan, and then we're going to go Huo with Arthur. So like I said, they're going to pair really well together. We already know Nevsky Joan works as a march, so just bring back the old classic in Nevsky Joan. Then we're just going to replace the William or the Belly, whichever one you had behind your Huo to begin with, and you're just going to throw the massive upgrade that is Arthur behind the Huo. So now we get a little interesting. So we're going to go into the 3 march cav setup, and for simplicity's sake, I'm actually not going to include Philip, which is one of the new leadership commanders that has come into the game recently. The reason why I'm not going to include him in these 3 marches is because in the current meta, I think that he should actually be behind either one infantry march or another archer march. So I really don't think that he should be paired with a cav commander, as they don't really lack pairings, because there's actually a lot of good cav commanders out there. So what would I suggest? I would suggest you run your Huo with your Belly Prime, who brings a lot of utility as well as rage manipulation and a nice kind of buff to your whole team in this skill right over here. Which is his expertise, which is just a flat 12% more all damage to everybody out there. You're going to run your Nevsky and your William together. So this is a tried and true. It's not, as insane as something like Nevsky Joan, but the Nevsky and the William pair really well together. You've got the buffs, the debuffs, and it's just really, really strong. And then you are actually going to go back to that first March pairing, and you're going to run Joan of Arc with that Arthur secondary just for that maximum damage output, and probably have your best set of gear on this March because it's going to pump. All that is said, okay, testing has not been finalized, so don't go and invest in any marches that I've said here and taking my word as the gospel. This is just my opinion based on what is presented to me. I understand that Attila could be good. I understand that using him as a primary and then William behind him could also be good as I get scouted in Home Kingdom. But either way, I would say that this commander is one of the strongest, if not the strongest commander in the game for Cavalry. And it's really good to see a commander like that being released because, man, Cav needed it a lot. So either way, I'm really excited. Gonna bring a lot of cool combinations to the game, especially with the artifact. And guys, let me tell you, I am scared. I am scared for the Arthur and Liu Che combo with artifact. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. So, and I hope you guys follow the channel to see me test it later on when it comes in game. So with that said, guys, you guys take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.